Blue Beetle, because I fell out of the sky.
I'm not
Blue
Ted
Beetle, holy
Cord.
crap, I don't want to die.
Still thinking
Blue
about that singing
Beetle.
episode, aren't you?
Oh, please.
Splash Pages the musical. It's going to happen, kids.
I can't wait.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Worst.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You're watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you, as always. And with us, Velvet Joker. How's it going, bud?
It's going great, and it's Tuesday night. You know what time it is. If you see my face, it is time for Splash Pages. And we are here once again every week, live on Tuesday nights here, 8 o'clock, to bring you comic book news and great stories and sometimes great guests. And we're going to have a great guest tonight, a horror comic book writer, a young lady that we're going to learn a lot about tonight. And let's not forget Keith Giffen, the great man who we just saw the trailer for Blue Beetle, and we're going to go over his Jaime Reyes Book 1 tonight. It's very exciting, and that's what we're doing. We're doing it. What do you think, Drew?
I think that I really wish this wasn't water and probably something stronger to deal with all of this. Hello, everybody. It's Splash Pages. Somehow, I'm not the loudest person in the room, which is astounding to me. But we have a great guest here, you know, a real New Yorker, K-Puts, the usual stuff. We got a great book. We got a shit ton of news. And all of your favorite guys are here. And Carissa, this girl. So, you know, I don't know. Just next, Jeremy.
Hey, kids, it's time for Splash Pages. It's me, Jar Jar, and I'm hanging with the boys and Carissa. So,
Yep, thank you.
hi, Tom, hi, Joe, and hi, Carrie. Hi.
Yeah.
And speaking of Carissa, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. It's definitely going to be a fun show. Would you like to tell everybody who you are and what you got going on?
Corissa Grant. I have my first series started, and we're up to issue 4. It is a horror, adventure, supernatural comic book series, and it's pretty much Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural and Silent Hill with Resident Evil. So, all that.
I caught all of that while reading it.
Yeah. Hi.
So you have a Kickstarter that starts on the 18th. We have links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And
I don't see anything up there.
Focus.
It's there. It's there. It's in the digital world.
Oh.
Gotta look inside the Matrix.
Are you saying it's inside the computer? It's inside the computer.
All right.
So now, Corissa, you appear to be a very young-looking lady. How does a young lady such as yourself become a comic book horror writer? How does that happen?
Well, I'm 45, so I don't know if
Vampirism.
that's young. But I started my horror started when I was 6. I had been hiding on the stairs, and I saw the marionette scene of Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Oh, wow.
Best one, by
Dream
the way.
Warriors.
Yeah, Dream Warriors. Best one.
Absolutely thrilled. I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen. I wasn't supposed to be watching it. I don't even know if to this day if they know I was watching it, but I loved it. So that was my first horror movie, and my second horror movie would be Cujo, which I loved until I went to the park the next week, and there was a muddy, disgusting, huge, giant Saint Bernard running around like a nut. So I did not like it as much then.
Oh, yeah. When the real life fantasy becomes real life, you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Not as cool.
Yeah, not as cool. But yeah, and then when it came to comics, my older brother John he took me to the comic book store, and I saw Ghost Rider, and I was obsessed with that and had to own every single one of those. And
Which version, Corissa, of Ghost Rider?
So the first one I found was with Danny.
Okay.
But then I had to go back and get all of Johnny Blaze, and then of course I think while I was into it, then Spirits of Vengeance came out, and then of course Midnight Suns came out, so I had to get everything of those, and that was my favorite. So the only comic books I ever kind of really read were Ghost Rider and Batman, and anything with Dick Grayson in it. So, but
big Nightwing fan.
She clearly is a big fan of the dick and the booty. Clearly, so you know. Well, listen, Nightwing's butt has enough of a fan base to be an article. So
I did not know this.
Oh no, it's true. I've seen people write articles about how Nightwing's butt became like a fad. Yes,
it makes sense. I mean, he wears a onesie, so you figure it shows it off kind of well.
And there's no cape to hide anything, so yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. And Corey and Barbara can't be wrong.
Right.
I mean, that man juggled two people at the same time. When we still don't understand, DC is like, was it with Barbara? Was it with Corey? And I was just like,
yes.
And I was like, that's just good old Batman training right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
you got to be able to multitask.
So we've got the formative years, Corissa. You start off as a young nerd. You get into the sort of the occult comics, and do you become a regular writer before transitioning? Like where's the transition happen?
So I actually, the bare minimum is I played Resident Evil 2, and that got me obsessed with horror. The best. And that was the original 2. And whatever the reason, I only bought it because there was a crocodile that came out to get Leon. I don't know what it was about that, but I literally had to go buy PlayStation to rent this game to play it. So that's how obsessed this commercial. Commercials were meant for me because I just fall for them every time. But I played the rented game, and I used to play Atari, so I didn't have PlayStation. And poor Leon kept going into the fire, and I hated it, and I couldn't get him. There was no instructions, and I threw the controller. And that was that. And my brother comes in and just picks up the controller and starts playing, and I got so mad. I was like, "Get out of my room!" So then that was it. I started playing, and I went out. I bought that game, and I bought Final Fantasy VII on the same day, and I played those nonstop. So, So what started the writing was I discovered role playing on MySpace, and someone said, "What character would you want to be?" And I became.
What?
And I became.
You just proved your age.
Yeah,
you just she just carbon dated herself. Like if you cut her rings.
I'm perfectly happy being bored. I was raised in the 80s. I'm perfectly happy with my.
Hell yeah.
But I role played Claire Redfield for 15 years.
Wow.
And well, for the stupidest reason possible, I wanted her to find a Leon, and I just, I thought they belonged together. Never found a Leon to role play with, but so anyway, so I started this story. I kept on to this role, the story that I had, and I held on to her for 15 years, and I just could not find somebody that I met a lot of great writers, but it just did not feel right. And then I met Jessica, and I just said, I didn't even know her. And I had role played with people for like 2 to 3 years. And I said, do you want this role? And she's like, yeah. And so we role played this story together for 2 years. And we wrote 11 novels long of this story.
Wow.
5 of those novels. Christ. Yeah, tell me about it. Because they're not short novels. These are like 90,000 words. Book 3, which is pretty much Resident Evil 2, is like 103,000 words. So
you're piquing the ears of one of our listeners, Carrie, I'm sure right now, who has to read like 20,000 words a day to survive.
You understand. That's after we're done, she's looking up Krista and be like, hi, I want to be your new literary BFF. Let us both write a horror 90,000 word novel about serial killers.
I'm good at that. I have a criminal justice degree.
Nice.
A bachelor's in criminal justice degree. So
Leo, you're dropping her information during after the show, right? Because I feel like some people are going to want to.
Did you not hit her up pretty quick?
Drew?
Did you not pay attention? Information is in the show notes, up above or down below.
You know what? Listen, some people don't know that. So who listen? Do you think some people listen to you all the time? God, I'm part of the show.
I know nobody listens to me.
I would appreciate a stalker with such fine taste as her. So I'm good.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, it's gonna be like that best friend scene in Step Brothers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be just like that.
Yeah. So we're still actually writing to this day. But the 5
That's cool.
The 5 of those novels is this story. It's about between 35 and 40 issues. I'm still converting the scripts. I just started yesterday converting the scripts of book 3. And so the first book is 7 issues. The second book is 7. And it looks like the third book's going to be 10 because we kind of went a little crazy with the zombie scenarios. And book 3 is my favorite. They're all my favorite, but book 3 is my favorite.
Are these published, Corissa, the books?
No, they're just we just made them for fun. We weren't doing them to publish them or anything, but we decided it was too good of a story to waste. So I decided to make them into comic books, and that is the comic books that we have out now. The other 5 books is a spinoff, and then the other book is a prequel, and we're still working on a longer prequel, and we just started writing for series 2 in both the spinoff and this series. So book 2, there's page 2 already starts with the gore, so that's probably our goriest.
Now, what could you tell our readers about the main character, your heroine in this story?
Yeah. What?
So she's an angel descendant, okay, and the Seraphina is an angel descendant, and her soulmate is Draven, and he's a demon descendant.
I almost closed the book, by the way, as soon as I opened it, because her name is spelt exactly like my ex-wife as Sarah, and I was just like, damn it, no. But I kept going.
Sorry.
Well, at least the ex-wife wasn't Seraphina, so like every time I saw the name Sarah, I added the Fina to it.
The funny thing is, I know someone whose name is Seraphina, so I was just like, I was like, this person is going to be trouble, because the person I knew whose name is Seraphina was trouble, and I was actually accurate, so it's fine. Continue, please.
So, in the beginning of this series, what happened was they were going to run away to. They met as teenagers in this lifetime, and they were going to run away together. And her brother found out that they were going to run away and decided to become a demon and stop them by murdering the parents. And he went after Serafina. And when she called Draven and told him not to come to the house, obviously the first thing he did was come to the house. She jumped out the back window, very badly wounded. And he goes through the front door. He calls her name. She turns around and winds up getting hit by a car. And then he slips on her blood and gets arrested for the murder of her family and her, because the car took her to another city and nobody knew who she was. And she was in a coma for a couple of months. And for 10 years, they both thought that the other one was dead. And she was trained as a supernatural hunter and he was trained as an assassin.
Yeah.
And so...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was gonna say in the book, the first book, they actually don't believe. They think it's a dream. Yeah, and I like that in a way that like they didn't really focus on that. They were like, well, we got shit to do, and like.
Yeah, my letterer, he goes, don't you think they should be happy to see each other and be kissing and stuff? And I was like, no. First of all, they don't think it's real. And second of all, I mean, they've been closed off for 10 years thinking the other one was dead. They had, they are stone cold, very untrusting. And obviously they still love each other because they're soulmates, but they just don't know how to deal with it. So they just like, yeah, we got shit to do. And they get attacked by Ghost 4 seconds later anyway. Yeah. So in this... What happened is when he moved back closer to her, their souls sent out an alert. So the demons and the angels got together and tricked them into going to this town. And the town gets merged with hell. So now it's kind of like a Silent Hill situation where they all the roads are gone. They're trapped in there and there's no way out. And they have to get through. We've got that's their parents, by the way, that you just skipped through. That's their fathers, not their parents. But that's her father and that's his father, and they've been at war for centuries over what she was created from. And it's an angelic weapon that has the power of souls, and they both want it for different reasons. But they're saying it's to tip the scales of the war because it's the most powerful weapon and they can use it to, overpower the other side. There's other reasons, but that's the reason now. So I don't know if you saw on his belt, the angel has a remote control with runes on it. If you go, I don't know if you can scroll down a little bit more. Yeah. So all our runes and everything, they spell out something. That spells out Anubis. He uses that remote control to control Anubis. And the demon controls the Hellhounds. So they're both after these two. So it's kind of a survival horror adventure where they're trying to keep Serafina alive because her death is what activates the weapon. And that's what they want. So pretty much it's keeping her alive. So they go through, there's hellhounds, there's ghosts, there's zombies, there's Anubis chasing them, and all that fun, simple stuff. Oh, and there's a zombie merman, which we have a plushie for, too.
Zombie merman?
I like your artist's rendition of Anubis. Really.
Isn't it great?
Well done.
It very much had Pyramid Head energy, looking on it. I was like, big, giant, swinging something. I was like, yeah, it's Pyramid Head. But I will say your zombie merman definitely gave me like some Friday the 13th vibes. Especially because it's just like, oh yeah, I know it's water, and I'm like, don't go in that water. Don't you dare go in that water. I was like, I'm like, okay, I knew it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I will tell you that every single issue has an Easter egg in it from at least one Easter egg from a horror game, movie, or urban legend.
Okay, nice. That's cool.
When we release each graphic novel at the end of the book,
scandalous. Scandalous. No. There was steam, Jeremy.
No, I had to put that. My artist didn't have the steam, and I added it because my mother reads it, and I have clients that read it. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to go too gratuitous.
Don't worry. This is for adults, so you can say, show all the nudity, curse, whatever, flip us off. We don't care.
We will have. I can't show her naked per se, completely on a cover, but I will have a not safe for work of our sexy vampire chick, probably the next issue. So we'll have. She could be as naked as she wants.
Patreon, yeah.
So yeah. So this is obviously Draven. That's his partner, they're both assassins. And now there's a hit on Serafina, and they don't tell you why. There's a lot going on here that doesn't exactly meet the eye. I tell everybody, I hint at everything, so they can't yell at me. But yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. They don't even know that they're being stalked by their fathers. Like, they never see them, they never have anything to do with it, and yeah, they're just kind of being manipulated like pawns.
Yep, that sounds like parenting.
Right?
Usually, yeah.
So
I stalk my children; they don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is issue 3, and the one coming out on the 18th. They'll all be available, but the one coming out on the 18th is issue 4. And we introduce our version, a subspecies of vampires called clotters. And the clotters have their heartbeat every 6 hours, which is just enough to keep off rigor mortis. But because of that, they have very clotted blood. Because I always hated it when vampires get cut, they bleed in movies. Like, they have no heartbeat. Why are they bleeding? So if they get cut or whatever,
plot holes.
Yeah.
So when they get cut, they actually bleed like a clotted, disgusting, dark, pudding-like substance.
Right.
And the only way to kill them is to chop off their heads or to burn them. Now, the tricky part with them is they have a hive mind. The family has a hive mind. And if one bites you or tastes your blood, any of them can track you anywhere you go.
Okay.
And if you kill one of them, they will track you down and destroy you out of revenge. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Corissa, one quick question.
Yeah.
So right now, on the, as Leo said, on the show notes above and down below, we can purchase up to issue 3 thus far.
Thus far, you can do 1 through 3, and on the Kickstarter, you can also get all 1 through 4, and you can also get the prequel, an issue 1 prequel from a different artist that we actually had made before. But never released it, so that's going to be available. It shows where they first met in this lifetime, and them pretty much being trapped in a mind and fighting against incredibly huge insects that all they want to do is kill you. So,
I'm sorry.
It's basically summer. Okay, great.
I was going to say you may want to think about making yourself a monster compendium.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Like the clotters and the bugs and stuff, as you keep going on and on.
Yeah, because we have actually a few. So these aren't for sale yet. They probably the next.
Oh, cute.
I think he's cute. This is our zombie merman. This is our fur demon, which comes later on. He's like a dark cupid. This is our skeleton bird. That's in 3. I think he's adorable. And this is the most popular. This is available. This is our plushie Anubis, who has and holds his little.
Oh, he's got an accessory.
I have to know, Corissa, how much is Anubis?
Anubis, he's only available in a tier. So the entire tier. I think his tier is 135 and then 185 if you want all the covers. We have 3 covers available. One of the covers was inked and penciled by Ken Hunt, which worked on both Batman and Harley Quinn and other DC.
We know Ken.
What?
We know Ken.
Oh, yeah. So Ken, and then it was colored by Cece Dela Cruz, which is the internal artist for Lady Death Universe, currently Lady Death Universe. So that's it right there. That's the one.
That is gorgeous.
Cool. And what is the budget we're trying to hit for the
1,000?
1,000?
Yeah.
And how many do you get to produce for that, Corissa?
What?
How many does that produce? How many comics does that produce for you?
I don't know. I already made it. Well, this is all paid for. It's getting colored this week, and then I just order the prints. So pretty much, my life savings has gone into
that black and white looks pretty good too.
It's awesome too. Yeah, we're actually considering making that a cover too, but I haven't done it yet. But everyone seems to love it, so it might just very well be another variant cover, just if they want the black and white. It is a poster print there for now.
That's cool.
Yeah, everyone loves that. I bought the original, so I'm not selling it, but I bought the original.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there a day gig, or are you so committed that this is the gig?
Is there a what?
A day. Is there a day gig?
I have my own business. Yeah. This isn't. Okay. I'm going to be.
This seems like a business. You've got all the characters made, everything. Like I'm impressed. You don't see that a lot when people go into printing their comics. Like you'll get the comics, maybe a little bookmarker or something like that. I'm impressed with all the characters being made and stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot. We love merch. It's actually like this is our 3-foot pillow.
Oh my God.
And we pretty much buy merch for us, and then it's tax deductible to offer it to everybody else. So that is how we have so much.
Hey, loophole.
Smart.
So, I mean, Nubis is the most popular, so this is our 3D print, but we only have 6 left, and I'm not making any more because they're a pain in the ass to ship. So whatever one's on there, and that's it. We do have some statues that I had a friend make out of clay, which are phenomenal. And I don't know why I had this done, but I was at a Comic-Con, and now I have a pipe cleaner, Anubis.
Genius.
I don't know.
Pipe cleaner art is great.
Look at this freaking. This guy sat there for 45 minutes and put this together, and I was like, okay. So,
shut up and take my money.
Done.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. What more can we say, guys? Like, she kind of said it all.
So, Richard's question.
I have one more thing. I actually had a song written, sung, and produced just for our comic book. It's actually available as a download for $5. And if you watch the intro video, the instrumental is in the background. So if you buy the $5 song, you get the vocal version and you get the instrumental version. And the lyrics were based on our characters. So it's Angel and Demons at War. So I forgot that your little part.
Do you have a marketing degree? Because
I do not.
You're very business sense. Like I'm impressed.
It's called incredibly obsessed with my story.
Either way, it really seems to be working.
He's sipping his tea. He's so impressed. Look at that. Like, oh yeah.
Oh, good.
How you doing? Hey.
Then I did good.
Yeah, Leo, you were saying?
No, I wanted to follow up with Rich's question. He was asking about your day gig, and you're talking about your business.
Oh yeah.
I run my own business. I run my own mobile bathing dog system.
Oh, okay.
Awesome! So, you've got one of those cool little vans where you can.
I do. I have
that.
It's not little. It weighs like 6 tons, but yeah. So
yeah, you're an animal lover too. We love you even more now.
Yeah. I have 5 adopted pets. Yeah.
Wow.
That's chaos right there.
What's the average per day that you do? How many animals?
Anywhere from 14 to 22.
Wow.
But I only work Tuesday through Thursday and a Friday and a Monday every 6 weeks. So
Good for you.
Yeah. I've been working with animals since I was 16. I worked as a vet tech for 14 years. I was a dog trainer for several years. I was a pet sitter for a very, very long time. So I've always worked with animals. This is the comics is my incredibly obsessive passion project. It's not really to make money. I mean, it would be a bonus. But it's mostly I just want to get enough money to make them, produce them all. Because right now, we have over 80 issues written. And cool. I don't know if I'll ever be able to see them all made, but that would be my
Not with that attitude. Come on.
Are you going to do cons and try to sell it there?
I have done a couple. I just started doing my first cons. I did 2 small ones, which went pretty good. I did a large one that went horribly.
Which con was that?
Yeah, the larger cons are a little tougher.
Well, the problem was it was so loud and busy that nobody can hear me talk. Like I couldn't pitch my story, and I made maybe $100, but I spent like $500 to do it. But I do have several more coming up that are local, but I have 3 horror cons, and I think that they're going to be like my people. So I think I might have a little bit better luck there. Yeah.
Horror cons are actually pretty impressive. Those people are very kindly. Like I did a couple of them last year, and I was impressed by how welcoming horror people are. It's very much they see you, they're just like, hey, you look a little lost. Why don't you come into my doom? Grab onto you.
There is a huge I missed it to sign up for it, but there's a huge horror con back in Lexington in October, and I'm going to go as an attendee. But I actually talked to them about it, and they were like super nice. They're like, oh, we don't have any horror comic people. You know, if you want to put something in the VIP bag, you can do that for free. You know, just put that in there. They go next year if you want to come, and you can sign up. And so I'm probably going to do it next year. But yeah, I have 3 horror cons this year. My first one's in June, and I'm super excited because my idol is there, which is James O'Barr, who
nice. The Crow.
Yeah, this is one of the first graphic novels I fell in love with, and actually when I started doing the script for this, I pulled his out as my inspiration, and I would love to meet him. When I decided to make the comic books, I didn't really think it through. And I hired my artist, and then I was going to bed, and I was texting my co-writer. I was like, I don't know how to do a script. Like I had like no idea how to do a script. And she's like, you'll figure it out. And I woke up the next day. I watched a 10-minute video on it, and then I wrote the whole entire one in one day. But then I discovered that my letterer is like, you realize that you need to see the art, right? So I had to lower the dialogue, and I actually cut the story, script in half. So I actually did issue 1 and 2 at the same time. So dialogue was probably the hardest thing for me to cut, down to or separate or whatever. And one thing that we do that I guess not a lot of people do, I had not known this until somebody was all excited about it. We have a lot of thought bubbles. Our characters think because we came from, a novel. And my favorite part about the novel is to get in their heads. So in our story, there's a lot of thinking, especially Draven. I mean, he's a demon, and he doesn't have a lot of, talking going on, unless he's sarcastic or, says something mean. But yeah, so there's a lot of thought bubbles. So you can really get inside these characters' heads. You can kind of see what they're feeling and what they're going through. So it's a little different.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And I forgot, where are you located out of? You said you were born in New York, and where are you currently?
Now I'm in Tennessee.
Okay.
Slightly different.
Slightly.
I was going to recommend Chiller Theater and Monster Mania, but that's probably...
Yeah, it is very out of her.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd enjoy it if she flew.
To the Cracker Barrel.
Quite a culture shock to move here. I mean, I'm not gonna say, but I didn't understand what anything they said. But I mean, even the simplest things, like, when I started, I was at a office, and if you say something, oh, I'm sorry, they're like, you're fine, and I'm like, I'm fine, like, what, they mean it's okay, but I've never heard someone be like, you're fine. I'm like, okay. So besides that, and bless your heart, things to learn.
Oh, bless your heart, darling.
Oh, you don't want to hear that too much, do you?
No. It means anything from I feel really bad for you and you deserve it and you're a bitch. So it goes, so it's either one of them.
That's Southern hospitality for you there, sugar.
Well, let me tell you, they call you, I mean, I love the South. Don't get me wrong. People are really nice. And it's one of the reasons why I moved here. And, but they get their aggressions out from being nice all day when they drive. So New Yorkers have nothing on them. They're getting all that hatred of built up, hospitality during the day and be like driving like nuts. They turn left on red here Like, I've never seen this ever. You're not supposed to, but they do. So, yeah. So, everyone that says New Yorkers are crazy, you have no idea.
The worst are Connecticut.
Yeah, what? That's why I lived in Connecticut for.
You know it, Leo. You guys suck.
No.
I lived in which part of Connecticut?
I'm over near Mystic.
Oh, nice. I used to go to Mystic all the time. I was near Waterbury. I was in Danbury, and my husband was near Hartford.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But I lived there for like 20 years or so, something like that. And then I moved here 7 years ago. So, yeah.
Are you happy you made the move?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I actually
that's all that matters.
I don't miss the snow at all.
Oh my God! It always comes to the snow.
It's snow here, and nobody goes out on the road. Like, we're out there, and it snowed for. They talk about the blizzard of 96, which was like 6 inches. I'm like, that's a flurry in Connecticut and New York.
I had that 2 weeks ago. The next day was 60 degrees out.
Yeah. We had snow here like 3 times in the last 7 years, and it melted by noon. So
nice.
These people are crazy. They don't even own a plow here, so they're crazy. One day they're gonna be wiped out by a snowstorm. You'll see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's when us Northerners will all be laughing.
Yeah, and we did have a tornado warning the other day, which I had not had since I.
Those I'm glad I don't have to deal with.
Terrifying. I didn't do anything about it because I was in bed and I was like, whatever. But
Twister, take me now.
It's like,
we're going.
It was 4 a.m. I'm like, I'm too tired to survive. But it was 4 a.m. and the phone went off. I didn't even wake my husband. I figured he's
if the roof rips off, the roof rips off. You know, shit happens.
Whatever. But yeah, it said, get into your basement, and it gives you an exact time. It's like, okay, it's gonna hit you in exactly 12 minutes for 5 minutes, and then move on. And I was like, what? That's fun.
Yeah. So, all right, I have enough time to get coffee, and then we'll go down to the basement.
Yeah. So that was fun. That was like a week ago. So we didn't have power for like 9 hours, and it was first world problems all day. I couldn't use the internet. I couldn't watch TV. I pretty much worked on scripts until the battery on my laptop.
Did you do this old school? Were you working on the scripts with candlelight? Just freehand, just
with
ink and quill. Yeah.
So I got lucky because my laptop lasted about, I don't know, 5 hours, and then I sat in my mobile van with the generator on charging it, so I was working in the van with it, so it was all good. We were charging our phones in there, so it was all good. Nothing's gonna keep me from my scripts, don't you worry.
So Chris, so since you're a horror movie fan, and I myself being a horror genre fan myself, I gotta ask, what's the top 5? Your top 5 faves?
Well, obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is my top favorite. And then I would have to say, that's hard. There's so many good ones. What?
I know there are. That's why I asked the question. Yeah. So,
well, I liked Friday the 13th, but I mostly made fun of it the whole time. But it is up there because it's a classic.
God damn you, Kevin Bacon. You deserve that arrowhead through the jugular.
Was Corey Feldman in the first one?
He's the 4th one.
4th one, okay.
I was gonna say I don't think it's the first one.
No, it's the 4th one. It's the whole, shaved head.
He's on my mind today. Kevin Bacon takes an arrow, doesn't he?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. He's in the bunk bed. The arrow goes through his neck. Dead. But he's dead. But he's still like, God. He's still so handsome, though. I'm just like, he's dead. I was like, he can't get footloose anymore if he's dead.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah.
Yes. No kicking off the Sunday shoes with Jason Voorhees.
Larynx loose.
I'm probably gonna get beat for this, but one of my favorite, and don't ask me why. I know why, but Freddy versus Jason, because I waited like.
Whoa! There is nothing wrong with that. That is a dumb, fun movie.
That's like
anybody
somebody
criticizes
saying Jason
it.
Goes to Space is bad.
Thank you. And that's dumb bad. That's like fun bad.
That one.
You watch that and you think somebody had an aneurysm and was like, let's take Jason into space. It worked for Leprechaun.
My favorite
so
part,
we're going to take Jason into space.
When he sees the holograms and they're like, you want to have premarital sex and do some marijuana? Just like, yeah, that's the best.
Yep. Yeah. But all right, so that's 3, right?
I also love Wrong Turn.
The first one was good.
I only watched the first one.
Well, yeah, that's why I said the first one.
Like deadly porn for the rest of them. And I know it's kind of mostly a comedy, but Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I actually met Simon Pegg, and
nice.
I've only written to one actor in my entire existence, and it was him from Space. If you ever watched Spaced.
Hell yeah.
He was playing Resident Evil 2. So I wrote to him and I sent him one of my extra Leon special cards. Extra.
Okay.
Yeah. I love him, but not that much. But it was an extra card, and I sent it to him in the mail, and he sent me back, which is right here. And he put
wow. She framed it, guys.
Of course. So then when I saw him in New York City, I said, you're obviously not going to remember this because it's been like, I don't know, 10 years. I said, but I sent you something in the mail. And he goes, yeah, is it a Leon card? And I was like, shit. Yes, because I still have it. So he kept it. And now cool. I'm like, I could die happy because that was like the best moment. So
that's awesome.
He's super modest. That guy is like,
well, yeah, but he's still got red on him.
Yeah.
You got red in you.
Yeah, I had the biggest crush on that guy. I don't know why, but yeah, Simon Pegg. So.
Every geek in the world's just like,
everyone was like, damn. Gotta reach out to the celebs. No, I get it because I did it once. No, Jeremy, you tell your story because mine's fun.
I sent the cover comic cover Batgirl. It's a variant where they do Purple Rain and it's Batgirl on the Batcycle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I sent that to him trying to get it signed before and never received anything back.
Oh, see, that's heartbreaking. See, with mine was kind of funny because back this generic picture with the sticker, and it was the one you could see on eBay all the time. And I was like, all right, whatever. But then 2 weeks later, I got the other one. So I'm thinking like they gave him the card like after, like they automatically send you something for writing. And then he got the card. He's like, well, shit, now I got to, send her something else. So he sent me that. And I've never seen this. I'm sure it's somewhere, but I've never seen this picture on eBay. And and of course it has my name on it. So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's never going to be on eBay.
No.
Ever. She's going to be buried with it.
That's
like Egyptians, they're like, we must bury our possessions. It's like, all right, well, Carissa said to bury her with this. Nothing else, just this.
It's one of those,
so if you needed to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was interrupting. You go ahead.
Oh, I said this is just one of those fire items. If there's a fire, what would you grab? Yeah. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can get another husband. I can't get this again. Like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
She didn't even wake him for the tornado. Like, fire, come on.
I should have went and grabbed this though, just in case. I mean,
yeah, you never know. You're like, honey, we can replace the house. Technically, I can get married again. I can fall in love. I can't replace this. I'm not going to bug Simon Pegg. I can't give him another Leon card.
This was in the basement, so technically, this was the safest place for it. So I was smart to leave it there. So
thinking ahead, yeah.
Yeah. See, I know what I'm doing.
So, Carissa, final thoughts on getting people to check out your fundraiser for the comic? What do you think? What should we tell everyone?
Sell it.
Give us your best pitch.
Buy my book.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
All I'm going to tell you that if you love anything horror or adventure and you don't mind action almost nonstop, then this is the series for you, because it never slows down. It balances out for like an issue so they can talk to each other, and then it pretty much goes back to them getting swarmed by vampires and fighting 100 vampires at once. So yeah. And it's super easy to find us too, because all you have to do is search Worthy Chaos on anything. Kickstarter Worthy Chaos, we show up. Twitter, Facebook, anything. Cool. Yeah. So, and the Worthy Chaos, the name, by the way, is her. She's the Worthy Chaos, because her blood attracts everything evil, and everything is after her. So she always thinks that she's a burden to him, and he always tells her that she's worth it. So to him, she's the Worthy Chaos. So I just wanted, that's why it's called that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Very cool. And so you can find everything in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. We have a link to the Kickstarter and your website, and also where to find you as well.
Are you on Facebook? Because we're probably
going to Facebook.
All right, we're going to send you a friend request. We got it.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Click, 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 click.
I found the show notes, Leo.
Oh my God!
They were down below.
I knew it.
So speaking of social, Carissa, where do you like people interacting with you on social media? You said you're on Facebook, but where do you like people hunting you down?
Either Twitter or Facebook. I do have a Facebook for me as Corissa Grant. I other indie creators, so anyone that contacts me, I either add them to the bottom of the Kickstarter for recommended Kickstarters, or I support them myself. And so I love all indie creators, and I love the community. I've never met a better community than that. So Twitter, I'm very active on Twitter. I have almost 5,000 followers in there, and they're all awesome. They're all comic book people. They're all horror people. They're the comic. So, and I like to tweet out because I almost would tweet out the entire thing because I get so excited I want to show it. But I try not to, so hopefully someone will buy it. But if I was allowed to, I would show every page there is. So on Twitter, it's at worthy_chaos. On Facebook, it's Worthy Chaos, or it's Corissa Grant. And those are the two places I'm the most active on there. So
very cool. Well, I know you said you have more shows to do, so we'll let you go. I thank you so much for.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So, Carissa, what's one horror quote that you find yourself saying frequently to the point where you don't even realize it till you realize you said it?
It's prime time, bitch. Probably.
All right, everybody, she's out. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
And that was an improv line, so that just makes it even better.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys are great.
Thank you for joining us, Carissa. That was cool.
Thank you.
And we'll also share more on your Kickstarter, and that goes live on the 18th
at noon.
At noon.
I don't want people think that I forgot, and it's like 9 o'clock, and they're like, "Why isn't it there?" So it's at noon on the 18th.
Okay. And what time frame is that? Eastern?
Oh, Eastern. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, no worries. No worries. Cool beans. Okay, we'll let you go. Thank you so much, Carissa.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. It's nice to meet you all. Bye.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
Hit me up on Facebook so we can chat.
Already got you.
Yes.
Perfect. Bye.
Bye.
Well,
that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
We behaved ourselves. I'm proud of us.
And now,
for the most part.
And we kept it to 45 minutes.
Honestly, I feel like, Leo earns 1 token to buy something Transformers-y. If he gets to 5, then he can. So good for us. So on to the news. So I need to say I do have a lot of news on my end, as always. But I'm going to let you guys go first. And yes, Leo, while our intro is playing, I did watch the trailer. Okay.
Well, speaking of that, the Marvels trailer is out.
The Marvels.
Oh. Okay, I need to say this because I know I've kind of been a bit of a critic of it. This actually didn't look bad. Like, I was like, you know what? I might see this. Because before I was like, no, I'm not bothering. This, I'm like, this might actually be fun, which is something I didn't really think about with the first Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah, I was probably in the same boat with you, Drew. At first, I was not really too interested in this movie, but I loved the Miss Marvel show. And that little I forget her name, but like
Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan, I forget the actress's name, but the actress herself is so infectious. She seems so excited in this part. I think they casted this part perfectly for her. And
Jeremy, I agree. That is a great show. I loved the Kamala Khan show. I didn't mind that they modified her powers.
No.
I felt that the actress was as well very infectious, and she really gave me feelings of like young Peter Parker, naive, learning his powers.
Yeah.
And I think this continued to capture that.
And what's funny is I feel like it kind of tying into our book. It's interesting to see the dynamic where the family is aware of your superhero identity.
It really is. I'm actually appreciating that more because I just finished watching Shazam: Fury of the Gods, this book, and the Miss Marvel's family. I think that is, although you're always worried about your family getting into trouble and stuff, my God, how much like stress that takes off of the power user.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry that my family's going to find out that I'm off saving the world, as long as I'm home by 9.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, the one moment that I loved is this: you have Nick Fury show up to your door.
Yeah, right.
Like just nonchalant, be like, "Is Kamala here?" And then she's just like, "Am I in?" I'm like, "I can't deal with this kid."
Is this an Avengers test?
Yeah, I was just like, you have an Avenger, you have the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a random person who might as well be an Avenger. Like, the fuck, man. You gotta invite him in.
I absolutely love just seeing you have all the Flurkins coming down.
Yeah. Her freaking out with the seeing the Flurkin in action. That was pretty funny too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait. I don't know if you guys remember from the Scarlet Witch, the first Disney Plus series.
Yes.
There's kind of an issue with Monica Rambeau and the current blonde Brie Larson Captain Marvel, because I remember when they're like discussing her, and she's like, "Yeah, we're not talking about her now," because they were comparing like where both their powers came somewhere from the Infinity Stones, one way or another. So I think there's some kind of history with the Brie Larson Captain Marvel character, and maybe Maria Rambeau, who was Monica's mother, that used to run the whole show that they work for. So I hope that they lead into that. I mean,
they probably should.
A question mark that's out there.
Well, maybe she's upset because she never came back.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
gave me this damn jacket and left.
I like I said, I was surprised by this, so I'm interested to see more, but I'm still hesitant. But that's just me.
Yes, Leo. Is there green in the background? Did you think it was the Hulk?
Stop it.
Oh, hold on.
No. There's red at one point. Mephisto, right? Anytime there's red.
Okay, so 2 things. One, either she blames her for the death of her mother, or she's upset because she never came while her mother was in the hospital.
Well, her mother had cancer.
Yeah.
But Monica was gone when her mother died because that was during the blip.
Right.
And Monica got blipped.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a big question, Leo. We do not know.
No, we don't. I'm just, thinking
do
of
we know who
do
we know who the villain in this is going to be?
No.
No,
all we know is they switch powers, or they switch places whenever they use their powers.
Shazam.
It's kind of like that Fantastic Four 2 when they just kept swapping powers.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, hey, right now there's some good trailers out there, man.
Yeah, they're one after another. And the other trailer that I actually haven't seen, I don't know if did any of you guys see the Indiana Jones Destiny?
No.
Yes, I did.
Yes, and what did you think, Drew?
Listen, I'm a huge fan of this. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Indiana Jones was probably responsible not only for my love of history, but for the reason that I have a degree in history. I'm thoroughly excited for this new one. I think it's got just the right amount of energy. I think it just got that same fun that I remember as a kid. I think it's going to be great, and I'm glad Harrison's back. I'm glad they're keeping true to the lore, but they're even taking time to poke fun at some of the things. They're adding new characters that aren't just going to be some forgettable one-shot made by a now has-been actor. You know, the stakes are better. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Like, I actually think I will go into the theater to see that movie, so I'm very excited for that.
Do you think they're gonna? I know the last one they were gonna try to hand off the reins to
Shia LaBeouf.
But do you think that they will hand over the reins to his daughter?
You know, honestly, if they do, okay. For me, it doesn't really matter who is. What matters to me is that it's a good story, you know, and that's the same thing I felt with the Young Indiana Jones series, which I actually very much enjoyed. I thought it was a great series. And fun fact, the Young Indiana Jones, I believe the teenager, will be at Terrificon this year. That's the gentleman from Boondock Saints.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Same guy. Yep.
Cool.
That's pretty.
Not from the movie, the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show. Yeah, he knows what.
Oh no, I know because unfortunately the one from the movie passed away.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, he did. But cool.
A snake accident. No, I'm sorry.
But no, but Rich, to answer your question, I'm very excited. Like I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and to be quite honest, that's what I want with movies these days. I'm not looking for the Oscar bait. I'm just looking for some good old-fashioned fun. You know, like that's the one thing I loved about Everything Everywhere at Once. It's a big movie, but it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Absolutely. What's next on our list?
Leo.
Oh, we lost him.
No, you know, I don't know what the hell, but randomly, like, music is playing on my computer. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't hear you guys. Some
he left one of the tabs open.
Well, like some ad keeps on randomly playing, or music. Like before, it was like "Fly Me to the Moon" was playing. I'm like, what the fuck? Where is that coming from?
Fly me to the moon.
Fly me to the moon. Let me.
All right, well, I'll jump in. So, guys, we had talked about it, I believe, last week about giving Super Mario Brothers a chance.
Okay.
And they had the big opening weekend of 2023.
Cool.
What were the numbers?
Scrolling down very slowly to exactly how much.
Hey, Jesse.
I'm actually getting more. Like at first, I didn't really care to see the Super Mario Brothers movie, but now I'm at the point I'm like, I want to know.
I'm definitely curious. Yeah, and I know it did so well that they're talking about spin-offs.
Yep.
204 million domestically and another 173 million internationally that pushed the global tally to 377 million on the first weekend.
Wow. Video game movie, people.
Insane.
And you know, the one thing that I think is going to be great is that this is going to motivate people in our age bracket to want to watch the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
May have to go
I'm all about it.
I don't know about you guys, but it's a dumb movie. But every once in a while, I see it, and I'm like, boy, this is stupid. But boy, do I still can't look away. Leo has a face like,
for
good for you.
So.
No, I mean, I remember watching it when I was a kid. You know, it's I enjoyed the TV show more. You know,
of course you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you ever? You know, the one thing is, I do catch myself saying every once in a while, "Get these bunch of Marios out of here." It's the one line of it I remember the most. It was like, "What's your name? Mario. What's your last name? Mario. You, Luigi. What's last name? Mario. Someone get these Marios out of here." I'm like, I can't deal with this.
But it's crazy. There was such a backlash against, the voice, and we talked about the voice actors and the original
Chris
voice
Pratt and all
actor.
that.
But clearly, that was not an issue because people came to the theater.
Well,
you know what sold it for me, and I was one of the ones like in the beginning, like I keep on forgetting his. I want
Chris
to say
Pratt.
no. The original Mario voice actor,
Charles
Martinet.
Yeah.
Like he does like the obviously he's been the voice of Mario for so long, but somebody took like his like woohoo and all those and like modified the trailer so that it was like his voice doing the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool for a second, but then it got really annoying. You know? Yeah.
Oh, Mamma Mia, it's okay. It's Mario.
But personally, I'm excited to see it. I'm a huge Mario fan. I have to get the newest Nintendo whenever a new Mario comes out. It's like that's the selling point for it. Is there a new Mario?
Is that why you're considering trying mushrooms? Because you want to feel big?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then Shazam came out on VOD this weekend.
Yeah.
And I know I wanted to get a chance to see it, but unfortunately I did not. I know a couple of you guys saw it already.
I did.
I still need to see it.
Fantastic.
Well, Leo and Jeremy saw it.
I don't know why it didn't make money in the movie theaters. That talk about a fun movie.
You know why? Friggin' Snyder cultists. Snyder cultists. That's the only reason it didn't do well.
I had so much fun. Don't get me wrong. It once again, it's not like your dark, whatever, containing like a huge universe. It's very contained. It's all about the Shazam family, and I thought it was marvelous. From beginning to end, I sat there and laughed. It was so good.
Tom Dog says Rotten Tomatoes still needs to apologize for not giving Super Mario Brothers movie a certified fresh rating.
People need to stop going to that site.
yeah, Rotten Tomatoes.
Just throw the tomatoes out. Get some new ones. God.
Yes.
But I agree with you, Jar Jar. Shazam 2 was a really good movie.
Those unicorns were dope.
Yeah.
God damn it, Jeremy.
That's the only thing I'm saying. Unicorns.
Fine. No magic for you.
I wonder if they're going to do anything. Well, I'm assuming they will with that. I don't want to say anything, but the end credit scene.
Yeah.
For Shazam?
Yeah.
You mean the one that they had the commercials for and then everyone saw anyway?
Yep.
No. That wasn't an end scene.
No.
That's like normal. That's a normal scene in the movie.
Two
end
cameo.
Scenes?
Yep.
Yeah. There's two end scenes. One of them, I think, has real repercussions for the DCU. Okay. The other one, I hope that they go into.
Okay.
Cool.
What else you got on your docket, Mr. Pond?
Let's see. That's your Harley.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. So new book coming out, Harley Black, White, and Redder, the sequel to Harley Black, White, and Red.
Okay.
And so like these series of books can only use black, white, and red. It's the 6-issue series launches in July. And it's a story by Chip. So it's going to be several stories. The first book's going to be Chip Zdarsky, Kevin McGuire, Leah Williams, and Natasha Bustos.
Wow.
And a story by Paul Scheer, Nick Giovanetti, and Tom Riley.
Okay.
I think you almost got every single one of those names right.
Wow, you've been practicing.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. So Chip and Kevin's story, they send Harley and Poison Ivy deep into the heart of Superman's Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, boy.
Leia and Natchez spin a story from Harley's past as a high-flying gymnast with vengeance on her mind. And Paul, Nick, and Tom's story teaming Harley up with Gagsworth, the original sidekick of the Joker. The two are paired up on a heist worth the risk.
He got eaten by a shark and 3 Jokers. Stop lying.
Ugh.
But go ahead. I'm sorry, Leo.
No. I'm just saying it how it is. That's it. That's
how it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Harley, I don't know if you guys read that Katana Collins is about to start pushing out Generation Joker, where apparently the kids of Harley and Jack Napier are wanting to learn more about their father.
Right.
And they go on an adventurous road trip. So I'm excited to read that.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be good. And then the book that they hinted at will be the following White Knight Beyond is, oh, man, that's going to be good, too. So, listen, Sean Murphy can keep, as long as he keeps up what he's doing, he can write as many White Knight connected stories, building up his Murphyverse, whatever. I'm good.
And we found out from our good buddy Coop, who went to C2E2, that we didn't know that Sean Murphy and Katana Collins are actually a married couple.
Yeah, I had no idea.
No idea. Good for them.
Learn something new every day. They work well together. So
yeah,
there you go.
I always worry about that. Like, what you're married to the person you have to work with. Like, how you really have to be like soulmates for that to like really work, because
communication has to be strong. That's for sure.
Constantly there with each other. You just have to write a script for her and she follows it.
Leo, did you have anything else?
I had one other thing that will kind of lead into your stories, Drew. So I want to see.
Jeremy, did you have anything before?
I had.
I was out doing car shopping and stuff, so I really didn't get to do much before the show to look up stories and stuff.
All right, Leo. Jeremy's glad to be here.
I had one more, Drew. So if you guys are going to lead into each other, I don't know if you guys had heard, but in the Ahsoka series, they announced that Lars Mikkelsen is playing Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Nice, that's fantastic.
For the people that know, that started off watching Rebels many years ago, he voiced Admiral Thrawn. And
wow.
I even found a little interview where Dave Filoni said it was pretty much the only person he had in mind. If he was available, they were going for Lars.
Perfect.
And they've been sticking with that because Zeb's character was voiced by the same from Rebels.
Well, that's, again, Drew has said before, when you have fans running the show, fans run the show.
Fans run the show, and they do justice in a way that makes sense versus, oh, hey, look, there's an Easter egg. Oh, there's an Easter egg.
How much attention to detail these guys pay. Like, everything. Like, it's pretty impressive when they bring the cartoon character, people we've only seen as cartoon characters, and then they're live action characters, and how, like, the little freckles on Katie Sackhoff's face and stuff. Like, it's perfect.
I will say just one thing before anything. I really do wish that Star Wars fans had the kind of respect Filoni and Favreau have for them, because I'm already annoyed because, of course, something I've yet to watch the latest Mando episode. Something was already spoiled for me because the internet can't help themselves, and I'm just like, it's not a big deal because I kind of already knew, but it's just, again, like, it's like, Leo, we've talked about this, where if it's been like more than a month, maybe 3, and you haven't watched it, you're on your own. There's been more than enough time for you to sit down and watch it. But a week, it's like Scarlet Witch. It's like WandaVision all over again.
I mean,
Drew, just FYI, those characters both did a great job.
Yeah, I know.
I'm disappointed that people had uproar about them being in the show versus the content of the show. Right. I was like, if you're gonna have a problem with the show, at least like pick something that's worth having a problem about.
I thought they did a great job. The episode itself was.
Yeah, I had no problem with either of them or all 3 of them.
Yeah,
but like my whole thing was I didn't want to watch Law and Order.
The funniest meme I've seen is with Christopher Lloyd. It says Mandalorian and Man in the
Yeah, I saw that too. I thought that was pretty funny.
This is not a news item, but to go along with Star Wars, the character Elia Kane, which she is that Empire woman that is like converted. So there's a rumor going around that she may be Omega.
Oh, okay.
And Omega is
the Bad Batch. Clone from the Bad Batch.
Clone from the Bad Batch.
And just to wrap up.
Hold on. Does she speak with a New Zealand accent?
No.
Oh, she can't be then.
She might, Rabbit. She might.
You were saying, Rich?
Oh, I just wanted to wrap up with the Lars Mikkelsen things. For those that don't know, his brother was in the Doctor Strange movie. He was the disciple of Dormammu. I forgot what his character's name was. Deciphus or something to that.
Right, you're talking about Mads Mikkelsen.
His younger brother.
Right, who also was Grindelwald in the third Fantastic Beasts movie after he got recast from Johnny Depp's role. Right.
Okay. Just wanted to put that familial connection in the nerd universe.
Nicely done. No Easter eggs there.
And off to you, Leo.
Okay. So I know, Drew, you have a death that you would like to bring up.
2.
Oh, so I didn't see your second one. That's why I added it. This was going to be the crossover. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Crossover death scene.
But
we could say instead of a crossover, it's a fold-in death scene.
Well, yeah. So I'll go over the first. Right. I'll go over the first one, and he's my second. So the first one, everybody, is that there were 2 notable comic book deaths that happened. The first one was Rachel Pollack. She passed away so recently. For those who don't know her work, she's most famously known for working on the comic book Doom Patrol on DC's Vertigo imprint from 1993-1995. Her issue run, which goes from 64 to 87, was a continuation of the series. She basically followed up after Grant Morrison's run. So she took over.
Follow.
Yeah, so she took over the series in 1993 after, funny enough, she met editor Tom Payer at a party, saying it's the only monthly book she wanted to write, and she sent him a script. And then toward the end of Morrison's run, she began writing monthly letters to the editor, essentially kind of fangirl asking to take over the book when Morrison was finished. And in the final letter, she said that she already told her mom she'd been given the job. So she was later announced, and it was kind of a joke, being that some people actually believe the letters is how she got the job. So during her time as a writer, she addressed comic book subjects like menstruation, sexual identity, transsexuality. She herself was a trans woman and wrote very frequently on transgender issues. So in Doom Patrol, she introduced a character called Coagula, who was a transsexual character. So a lot of some of her themes that she did in her run actually ended up showing up in our current Doom Patrol series, the one that will be coming to an end with its 4th season this year, I believe. So she did Doom Patrol. That did end 2 years later with the book's cancellation. So she did Vertigo's Vision Anthology. She did 11 issues of the New Gods. She even did this limited series called Time Breakers for what was called the Helix imprint. Her last work was in 2019 when she reunited with her Doom Patrol artist Richard Case and her letterer John Workman for a short story called Snake Song for the Kickstarter-funded music horror anthology Deadbeats. But unfortunately, in July 2022, she revealed via Facebook that after overcoming Hodgkin's lymphoma, she had been diagnosed with a different variant and would begin undergoing chemotherapy. On March 12th this year, Neil Gaiman, who knew her, announced via Mastodon the behest of Pollack's wife. She was in hospice care and nearing the end of her life, and she passed away April 7th. So a very a very strange but poignant career, but only befitting one of the Doom Patrol. So, sad there. So the second one is one that that Rich pointed me out to, Alan Jaffe, aka Abraham Jaffe, who was an American cartoonist notable for his satiric work in the Mad magazine. He also is the creator of the trademark Mad Fold-In. So Jaffe was a regular contributor to the magazine for 65 years. Actually, I'm wrong. Not even. He is the longest running contributor, and with a career that ran from 1942 to 2020, he holds the Guinness World Record for having the longest career as a comic artist. So in the half century between 1964 and April 2013, only one issue of Mad was published without new material from him. His entire career totaled at 73 years and 3 months.
Damn.
So to give you everybody some context, this guy briefly worked with Timely and Atlas Comics back in the 1940s, 1950s, which were the early precursors of Marvel. Once worked with Stan Lee, editing Timely's humor and teenage comics like the Patsy Walkers. He worked on some other magazines, but then when he was with Mad, he created the Mad Fold-In as a satire of the triple foldouts that you would see in like Playboy, Life, and National Geographic. And he said in 2011, one of the best things he enjoyed was there was an episode of Jeopardy that showed a fold-in, and the contestants all knew the word. So in some ways, he had created an English language word, kind of similar to, you know, how Shakespeare is responsible for thousands of our words. So, yeah. So, and he was pretty genius. I was doing the research on it. He used a computer only for the typographic maneuvers to make sure certain fold-in tricks were easier to design. And he did everything in his 2 weeks to sketch and finalize an image. He did it all by hand. So he was really, yeah.
Drew, for those that don't know, what the fold-in is, it's essentially a beautiful piece of art that he drew. But when you would fold it in a certain way, it would totally change the image to something totally different that you did not see in the first place.
Usually, like a big.
It's masterfully done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Jeremy, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, usually it went from like a normal picture to something kind of goofy and weird and crazy looking.
Well, he had a really good sense of humor like that. And a lot of people don't realize, because while he was doing fold-ins till June 2019 was his last one, because he announced his retirement in June 2020. He also contributed a lot to Mad's articles. So he was either a writer or artist, but one of his was something called Snappy Answers to Stupid Questions, which were basically put downs to unnecessary clueless inquiries, and then even articles about inventions or gadgets that were presented in a like somewhat elaborate blueprint. Among his acolytes, he was inducted into the Will Eisner Hall of Fame in 2013. He was also honored in 2008 with the Reuben Award for Cartoonist of the Year. Nothing but high praise for this guy. I mean, the fact that when he passed away recently of organ failure on April 10th this year, he was 102 years old.
Wow.
So, I mean, unfortunately,
that's a
in 2013, Columbia said that he had donated most of his archives to the college. So his work will be preserved for future generations to appreciate. So, you know, two greats of their own way. And, you know, I'll admit I've read a few Mad magazines. I was never a huge fan, but I appreciated them. And just to realize that he was really there through so much of it is just amazing. You know?
I'm just looking up something real quick, Drew. There was a Batman issue in the New 52 that had a fold-in, and I'm just looking to see if he had anything to do with it.
I have no idea. Leo, what were you saying?
Oh, there it is. Issue 19. Yeah, it is. Al Jaffe. Issue 19 of the New 52 Batman run. Al Jaffe, Mad Magazine.
Cool. You were saying, Leo?
No, I was going to say I grew up with Mad Magazine, and I absolutely loved his snappy answers, column, and then the fold-ins, obviously. And when I was a kid, I loved doing the fold-ins, but stupid me, when I got older, it was like, I can't crease the comic. I can't
right.
I know that pain.
So I'm like trying to do the fold-in while like not creasing it, just doing like a slight bend and
right.
But
okay.
I grew up with his art. I love it. His comedic style is just amazing, and
he will be missed.
He will be missed.
He will miss.
A hell of a career.
Indeed, definitely did. So transitioning to let's say happier things. Definitely some interesting news. I actually have some Star Wars news for our fellow Mandalorian over here. So recently at the Star Wars Celebration Europe 2023, Marvel announced that there will be a Star Wars horror-fueled epic called Star Wars Dark Droids. This is going to launch in August with Dark Droids issue 1 by writer Charles Soule, who, as we know, did some work with the Darth Vader series. He's done a lot of Star Wars recently. I myself remember him when he was doing some work with Marvel. He was doing Daredevil for a while over there, a couple of other things. But he's been primarily Star Wars a lot lately. So he's spearheading this, and he's writing the main series alongside artist Luke Ross. Dark Droids will then spin off into one-shots and cross over with other Marvel series like the Star Wars Darth Vader, Dr. Abra, and then Star Wars Bounty Hunters, which, as we know, is currently set between the Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and the Return of the Jedi. So, but the synopsis is, in Dark Droids, a mysterious new threat called the Scourge corrupts droids, cyborgs, and everything in between, spreading chaos throughout the galaxy. Ajax Sigma, who first appeared in last year's Star Wars Revelations issue 1, is going to play a role in the saga, although his true intentions remain unknown. And as Leo just showed, a beautiful cover by superstar artist Lennell Yu, you definitely get that horror feel. And we also see Luke there with his yellow lightsaber, something that's been popularly added to the canon. I believe this is the lightsaber he's using either after he lost his father's lightsaber in Empire or before that. So pretty cool. So that's Star Wars. So please interrupt me with your thoughts at any point.
Sadly, I haven't kept up with the Star Wars comics since the second volume of Darth Vader.
Fair enough.
Don't get me wrong; it's good storytelling, and it adds so much more to the lore. It's just it became too much. There's like 4 or 5 Star Wars books out right now. And
well, not only that, it is like they keep on changing the volumes for like Darth Vader. They're volume?
3 or 4 now.
Yeah.
For collectors like me and Leo, that's too much.
Well, like I started reading it, and like the storyline I was reading was incredible, and then I tried to pick up another issue, and I'm like, wait a second, this is not even the same storyline. It's like I'm lost, and it's like, oh crap, it's a different volume. That's why.
Right.
So the first volumes were great.
Yeah.
The
it goes into a lot of like Anakin building his temple on Mustafar and like all this stuff. It's really interesting.
Oh, and the best line from Vader ever, when him and Luke first meet, Luke goes, "You killed my father," and Vader goes, "I've killed many fathers. Be more specific."
That is a boss line. So moving on to other supposedly boss moments. So in the Marvel news, in the world of X-Men, Madeline Pryor, who we better know as the Goblin Queen, is going to be leading her own team of Dark X-Men in a new series by writers Stephen Fox and Jonas Scarf. So Dark X-Men issue 1, which is a cover by seen by artist Steven Segovia, releases on August 16th from Marvel. We're going to see Madeline Pryor, who most recently took a heroic turn in the Dark Web event, leading the new X-Men team through the fall of X. So the members of the team are Havoc, Archangel, Gambit, Azazel, Zero, Albert, and Emplet. So Marvel says the synopsis for this is, following the explosive events of the Hellfire Gala, Madeline Pryor realizes the world needs the X-Men now more than ever. Havoc, Archangel, and Gambit have served on teams before, but never one that looks like this. And how does Gimmick, breakout star of Children of the Atom in 2023's Marvel's Voices Pride, fall under the Goblin Queen's sway? Find out in the most horrific installment of the X-Men saga yet. So we're definitely seeing more Marvel is transitioning to horror-ish themed comics, which I'm totally for. And one quote from writer Steve Fox really caught my eye, because he said, and I quote, "I'm excited for readers to find out how this unlikely cast got summoned under one roof. The ones at Maddie's side by choice, the ones stuck in limbo by circumstances outside of their control, and the ones who don't make it out of the first issue alive. And to watch Jonas Scarf, that's the artist, unleash a whole new brand of gothic horror action on the Marvel Universe. This is X-Men by way of Evil Dead, and we're not leaving until we burn the whole place to the ground."
Now,
Sounds
Drew,
like
is this sort of the end of the Hickman era, or is this the beginning of the new era?
I would say this is the end of the Hickman, X-Men, Krakoa era. So I definitely feel if it's not the end, we're definitely going to see a different transition going. I mean, you know, with the title like Fall of X, which we went over on our last episode, I mean, it's not looking good for this era. So I will say that.
Right. And then I wonder how the Goblin Queen comes, because, I mean, you know, you go back in the day, I mean, we went over that very long mini tie-in story, where if I remember correctly, at the end, her and Belasco go to just like fight in limbo,
basically.
So you know how she is now reunited with the X-Men after pretty much being their sworn enemy for many years.
Yeah. So, but like I said, she's been more of a hero lately, which, you know, I want to say great, but I feel like it won't last for long. So we'll see. You know, but running our own team of X-Men. So now on the DC news, there are some new releases that are coming out this week that I definitely want to mention. But there's a big thing about something we've already mentioned. So as we know, this May, DC is going to publish issue 135, which is the conclusion of the Batman of Gotham storyline, which Leo has been raving about from the Chip Zdarsky run. But that issue is also going to be the 900th Batman comic produced. And to celebrate it, it will have a double-sized with two cover drawn by Marvel artist and former editor-in-chief of Marvel, Joe Quesada. So it's going to ship with multiple covers, as any milestone issue does, but it's going to include two interlocking covers. So this is going to feature an army of Batman from across the multiverse, and it's one of Quesada's first DC assignments in many years. Already looking at it, you know, I can see Adam West Batman. You've got
he's in the upper right. Adam West, the upper right corner. We got Batmite in the lower left-hand corner.
You got the Batman Who Laughs. You've got Frank Miller's Batman. You've got the Batman from Red Sun.
Oh, Azrael.
Azrael. You got Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond. You've got Flashpoint Batman's over there. And then the thing that's also nice is that you've got stylistic Batman. Like you've got kind of like Leo would point out, the Lee Bermejo Batman. You've got the Batman Who Laughs. Like I said, you got Frank Miller's. You got Tim Sales in the corner there. Well, you know, it's a who's who of Batman, not just of style, but also of of substance. So it's honestly pretty damn cool. I don't know if I'm still going to buy the issue, but I will give you credit that's some really interesting detail in there. And
well, I just want to know if below that image, I hope they have a lot of newspaper. That is a lot of guano that's going to be produced.
I absolutely love the retelling of the original bat suit there. That just looks awesome.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, all right. So that was that. So now on to new books that are worth mentioning. I thought of you, Velvet, because apparently while in Batman Incorporated issue 7, we're going to see the debut of the Joker Incorporated. So much like Batman Inc. is an organization inspired by the Dark Knight, Joker Inc. will be a rival group of villainous clowns, giving the team a new challenge in the series' following arc. This story, written by Ed Brisson, who some people would know worked on Old Man Logan. He also did some Batman stuff back in the day. And drawn by artist Michelle Bandini. We saw the first glimpse of the Joker Inc. when they ambushed the Batman of China at the end of the last issue. I believe it was Batman Incorporated issue 5. But this time we're going to see the real gang, which I have to say, while being interesting, I kind of just thought, well, isn't they're kind of like the Jokers from Batman Beyond? So, okay, interesting. Going with what's going on in the DC, we have the 4-part miniseries, The Lazarus Pit: Revenge of the Gods, is releasing its penultimate chapter, where we see Shazam is against the wizard that gave him his name. So at the end of the previous issue, the wizard Shazam drained the Justice League member of his powers. So a preview for issue 3 shows that Billy is still trapped on Mount Olympus, still able to transform into Shazam, but his alter ego is actually too weak to break both of them out of there. So, Earth's mightiest mortal apparently isn't as mighty. Now, I thought of Leo for the next news because Superman, in Superman Lost by Christopher Priest and art and cover by Carlo Pagulian and Jason Paz, has a new costume.
That is shiny.
Yes. So, essentially, this series is Superman returning home to Metropolis from a mission that the Justice League were sent out to deal with, and he got sucked into space by some sort of alien machine. He returns to his planet to essentially find that what he felt was an entire day to the people on Earth. He said he's been gone for 20 years. So this second book is going to explain the circumstances of this trip, how he ended up on an Earth where he essentially needed a new suit because he couldn't handle the gravity on that other Earth. So he was given a new suit by a mysterious character. And personally, I think it looks pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of the suit that we saw him wearing in the All-Star Superman.
Do you think they did this just to save on ink?
Maybe.
That's like an ultra white, though. That's not just paper white.
The funny thing is that that's not the only series coming up that's going to have him in that similar costume. Because we saw in MegaCon, Superman 3 by Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell, we'll also see him in a special white costume after he undergoes a body horror transformation caused by the parasite. So I was like, okay, I guess red and blue is out now, or shiny.
White and yellow.
Indeed. So I had 2 other details. They're not really comic booky related, but they're very brief, so I'll just keep them. I don't know if any of us are watching the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur series that's on Disney Plus.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, well, essentially, one of their latest episodes or upcoming episodes is actually going to have a tie-in with a major Marvel character we haven't seen in a while. So, in the story, Devil Dinosaur essentially asks Moon Girl if there's something they can do about his size. So they make him small. But then he has problems essentially getting back to being a dinosaur. So when they're having trouble with that, they go to consult somebody. And who Lunella Lafayette consults is Dr. Foster, a.k.a. voiced by Lawrence Fishburne, who portrayed the character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this is his first time returning to the character since we saw him in 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's a nice little tie-in.
Is he sure that he's in Marvel this time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's sure.
I only say that because I read an article where he wanted to be like in Marvel, and I guess he forgot he was an Ant-Man.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, it's funny because
see him as Goliath, Drew.
Yeah. Well, no, they haven't really said much about that but they're definitely saying, they're definitely hinting that he's doing more than one part for this series, because he's also going to be voicing the Beyonder, who's going to be one of the series supervillains.
Okay.
Which, having the Beyonder in there, that's a pretty big villain. So, for those who don't know who the Beyonder is, just look up Secret Wars. Then you'll know.
Battle World.
Yes. So the last thing was something funny.
The first he wasn't in the second one, right?
No.
Yeah.
So something funny, and I was actually thinking, because we spoke so heavily about Secret Invasion, that Sam Jackson was on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, and he was just talking about Secret Invasion, sharing anecdotes and news and stuff, and Sam Jackson basically stated how much he loves DC and he's never read a Marvel comic. And he said, and I quote, "And truth be told, I don't even read Marvel comic books. I kind of look at them, and when I discover myself as Nick Fury, I just happen to see myself and say, what am I doing on this cover?" And that was it. I put the book back, but I've read DC comics my whole life. I mean, we all grew up with Superman, Batman, Aquaman. So apparently you can be a fan and be extremely influential in the Marvel movie, enough to the point where you're even criticizing, you're defending the stuff against people who criticize Marvel, like Martin Scorsese, that you do not read Marvel.
You're a DC fanboy.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he wants to make a move. Maybe that's like
that's his
secret signal to James Gunn.
That's his way out. He's like, hey man, Nick Fury's been around for a long time.
You're welcome.
Maybe to move over to the DC side of things.
So that's all the news I had for this week, guys. So a lot to unload there, but a little something for everybody.
And the nerd stuff keeps rolling.
So
it does.
Blue Beetle.
I'm surprised you didn't actually have more stuff from what is it? Celebration?
Star Wars Celebration. I stuck to what I felt was the most pertinent.
Yeah,
I think everything else would come out.
Yeah, there's several trailers that were leaked. They weren't officially released, so we don't want to be.
Oh no, we're not allowed to do that.
There's toys and there's Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. Oh my God, a ton of toys. We'll probably talk about the toys tomorrow. And Jabo, if you're watching, you can always join us. But a lot of Star Wars toys. Apparently, some Indiana Jones toys were released during Star Wars Celebration as well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I need to say, who recommended this book? Was it Velvet? Was it you?
This was actually me.
Okay.
I recommended it because this was listed as one of the reading materials for the upcoming Blue Beetle.
Yeah, this was. I got to say that this was a lot of fun. I honestly, when I started reading it, before I knew it, I was on issue 7, and I was like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, it flowed very quickly.
The only problem I had was the first issue. I was a little bit confused because you start, or is it the first?
No, it's the first one.
The first issue.
Yeah, you start off mid, story almost, where he goes back, and I'm just like, at first I was like, son of a bitch, what happened before this that he got to here? And then they go and tell the story. Infinite Crisis actually was happening right before this.
Yes, that, and then this also ties into Day of Vengeance. So, if you've never read either one of those, you're a little lost, but they kind of explain it a little bit well enough. And then, fortunately, Keith and his writing co-partner, whose last name is Rogers, but I don't remember the first name. They do explain some of those events, which I'm like, okay, good, because you fill in that very important blank.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it's interesting because, I mean, obviously I knew about the character of Blue Beetle, but I had never really gotten into like his origin story. I'm like, oh, he's a cool character. He's the third Blue Beetle. He's Jaime Reyes. He's a younger version. And then I saw him on the animated
Young Justice.
Young Justice. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I learned a little bit about the Reach, and that's where his armor came from. So now to go back and see this, boy, Keith, he plots a great story, a great family feeling story about friends and loved ones and people that just care about each other. And like we've said before, and then you throw superpowers into the loop. So there's already a great base story, and you're throwing these other powers into the loop. And I thought it was also super interesting that, like you said, he first. I'm sorry, Drew. What was the first that came right before this? Infinite
Crisis. Infinite Crisis.
Infinite Crisis, where I guess he ends up being the hero in defeating the Omax
and Brother Eye. Yeah,
and Brother Eye. And so we don't learn until this story that he has also been missing for a year since then, and nobody knew that he was gone. Not the heroes. His family didn't know what happened to him. Nobody knew what happened to him.
Yeah,
so this is a lot to unfold and a great story.
Yeah, and on top of it, you know, one thing I do like especially is that like nothing here felt forced. Everything felt logical. The kids sounded like, you know, the teenagers sounded like teenagers. You know.
It actually took me a second to read them right. I'm like, why does this seem like something's not right here? And then I started actually speaking while I was doing it, and I got into like using a little bit of teenage hip talk.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I got it now.
And then
right here, that this version of the Peacemaker, I have never seen.
Oh my
before.
God.
Yeah, he was great. I definitely liked him as the nice gruff, tattooed.
I was sad we lost him so soon. Like he was out of the story. I was like, oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, but this whole thing was good, and then the story, the family, his friends, you know. But I also was interesting that how everything tied in, because remember after Infinite Crisis, they did 1 year later, and then they did 52, which was essentially explaining what happened in that 1 year. So, you know, you have that interesting point. So Jaime got swept up in the big changes that were happening in DC at the time. And, you know, it was just, you know what it was? It was nice to read a superhero comic where the character was relatable about his learning curve.
Yeah.
You know, like Jaime is like, I don't know how to fight. And you're putting me in these conflicts. Like, you know, people want to talk about, oh, hey, you know, they want to talk about, oh, hey, you know, I know exactly what I would do with the superpowers. I was like, motherfucker, please. You'd be freaking out just as much as the next person. You know, it's the same thing like in this scene right here. He gets a call from Oracle, and it's at the worst possible time, and he freaks out on her.
It's just like, F you, I'm out.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Leo, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It definitely gave me more insight into Blue Beetle, because I knew the only part of Blue Beetle that I knew was from Brave and the Bold, the cartoon,
the series, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I loved that. I thought they adapted him so well, and that's also how I know about the Reach too, from the Brave and the Bold cartoon, voiced by Will Friedle.
I also think like they did well at giving you information on the two previous Blue Beetles, like telling you like about them, their history and stuff. I think this was because I'm one of those people. I only knew Blue Beetle from Justice, Young Justice, so I never read a Blue Beetle comic. This was great.
Carrie says this was my first real exposure to the Blue Beetle at all. I loved it. Everything is typed about it. Y'all said
everything I've typed.
Yeah. I wasn't going to bother with it until this, but I'm very glad that I did.
Yeah, I think I'm going to finish reading the whole thing. It's only 36 issues, so I should be done like the end of the week. But no, it was very nice. It was very interesting. I loved the stuff with Dan Garrett's descendant, or not descendant, family, Danielle. That was great.
The granddaughter.
Yeah, and then even the stuff with the New Gods.
Oh yeah,
was
Metron.
I was so happy to see that going on. I was like, oh shit, I know these guys.
Right? No, I thought that.
Oh, and the Phantom Stranger.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I another character I barely know much about, but it was cool to finally get a little bit of a glimpse of him.
An interesting sort of bad guy, sort of nemesis that they were setting up for Jaime in his friend's aunt, Ladamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a bad guy written quite like that. I thought that was fairly interesting.
So I'm assuming magic must become a much bigger role as this story goes on, because there's a lot of talk about it.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, also, this series this is a soft retcon, because originally when you had the Beetle, it was all magic.
Yeah.
And then, as the story goes, when Dan Garrett died, Ted Cord became his spiritual successor, but unfortunately he couldn't get it to work. So he made it work by technology and kind of being the Blue Beetle version of Batman. And then Jaime, Keith kind of used it to Keith and his writing partner, because again, it wasn't just him. They kind of use it to John Rogers, that's the name. Thank you. They kind of used it to retcon what the Scarab was. It was alien tech. So
this was a cool little interesting part where you think Ladama's this villain, and that she's actually got this whole group of people that are willingly being trained and such. I mean, obviously there's more to the story, but
yes,
very cool.
I'm trying to I know I had one or two really favorite funny moments. I just, for the life of me, can't remember.
Well, there was one where after Oracle gets blown up by Jaime, Dinah Lance, I think, turns to Oracle and is like, so you couldn't recruit a young teenager? You're really failing these days? Something to that effect. It was very funny.
Yeah, it sounds like her. I also remember when he's retelling the story, Batman is like, yeah, make sure when you retell the story, say Superman. More people Superman like him than me.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that show was it. Even he even mentioned, he's like, Batman's got a great sense of humor. It's a little dry, but
oh my god. I will say, when he was fighting Lonar and Lonar headbutted him, and he's like, what are you packing? He's like, that hurt. What are you packing in there? He's like, justice. And he's like, you've got a forehead full of justice? What does that even mean? Like, I was like, I can't. This is just.
I need more of this Peacemaker too. I think I need to dig more into his whole lore.
And it's funny because he referenced one of the darker moments in because I'm fairly certain this Peacemaker worked with the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. He mentioned Kahndaq.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm correct, Kahndaq was a storyline in Kahndaq, if I'm correct, was a storyline in the Suicide Squad, where the squad, I think, was responsible for some event that went really bad with Kahndaq. So,
well, that's Black Adam's town.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that?
I think so. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rules Kahndaq, or however you say that.
Yeah.
Carrie added a funny statement. She says the comment about Jaime being able to ride bitch with the illustrator.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Which is the scene right there that Leo literally.
Well, but the thing being is, if you know Keith Giffen, he's always had a good sense of humor, so he just brings that to that. And plus, him and like his constant writing partner James DeMatteis or DeMatteis. Sometimes I don't want to be on a Leo level with these names now. They've worked a lot with the Blue Beetle, so primarily through Ted Kord. But Jaime was a new chance, and I mean, come on, he's still the Blue Beetle.
Drew, this was noticeably because this is not J.M. DeMatteis with him. This is the other. Is John
Rogers. Yeah.
So while this still had a few funny elements, not as funny as when he writes with DeMatteis.
Yeah, but it's still I mean, you can't always strike lightning.
Yeah. It was just noticeable to me. I thought worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think this was more focused on story than comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they did a great job. Anybody else have anything further about? Any further thoughts?
Oh, hold on. I think Leo, you go, because there was one moment I wanted to bring laugh up. So go.
I had a question for y'all. For you all, y'all.
Oh, okay.
Or y'all.
We're going to Tennessee now.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. No, my boss is from Texas, and she always says y'all. So it's kind of stuck. So yeah, what was I gonna say? What the fuck?
You were gonna ask us a question.
Yeah, so with them prompting us to read this to get ready for the movie, obviously they're gonna take parts of it very loosely, but since there were so many characters in this, do you think they would bring anybody over? Like, do you think we'll get like a Peacemaker cameo?
I was wondering that myself. I was like, I wonder
maybe,
because it seems to be the same kind of like time period where he's just getting his powers, just
I don't know if the timing's right. This is not a James Gunn production, is it?
What's that?
This is not a James Gunn production.
It's not a James Gunn production, but it is been announced that Blue Beetle will be carried over into the DCU.
Okay.
Right. I don't know how much of this movie will really, but this character, this Blue Beetle, is going to be in the DCU.
Maybe we'll get an extra scene. That'll be cool.
So with Peacemaker. There was one more moment that I wanted to bring up that I thought was really funny. It was in the one where they're explaining what happened during Injustice. One where Jaime apologized for puking in the Batcave.
No.
And he says, the floor is hose clean. I have people. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a rich thing.
Yeah.
But
when I was reading that, I'm like, does he really, or is that just going to be Alfred's job later?
That's just
right. Alfred's got to clean up the kids.
But when they're talking about Brother Eye, and he says, with an army of robots manned by innocent people kidnapped against their will, what kind of psycho nut job supervillain built that? And Batman and Jaime look at each other and says, do me a favor, Jaime, don't tell Green Arrow you said that.
Yeah.
And then that had also one of my favorite emotional moments. It's when he's retelling and he really thought they were leaving because they couldn't see him. They thought everyone was leaving him there to die. And then his sister, who's been avoiding hugging him the whole time since he showed up and showed the armor, she hugs him. Was like, man, this is a beautiful moment, man. Like, that's just good storytelling.
Yep.
So, I don't really, like I said, I read some of the Blue Beetle. I didn't really have much of a background, but I'm gonna gonna read more of this just because I want to see where this story goes. So
absolutely.
You know.
And FYI, Keith just started. He just dropped his first podcast episode.
Actually,
So
second one came out today.
Oh, look at that. So
Yeah.
Google that. And you can find that if you want.
I'm not dead yet or something like that.
Yeah. Keith Giffen, I'm not dead yet.
Sounds about right. That old curmudgeon. If I seem to recall, he did have a roast of himself at one Terrificon, which two of our Rich, where two of our friends showed up in costume for.
Oh, I missed that. That sounds exciting.
Kevin and Seth were sitting as the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Oh, of course.
In like the second row. And he was like, and he acknowledged them. He was like, yeah, of course these two fucks are here. Like, you know.
Yeah, because they've definitely seen them before.
So I don't really have much more to say about it. So I don't know. Did you guys have anything more to say before we rate this thing?
I can just keep praising it if you'd like, but I had fun with it.
Leo, set it off. Rate it.
Yeah. Hold on. Which was this? Hold on. Carrie says Brenda's comment about Jamie being sorry, I know is.
I think you already said that one, man.
Yeah, this one. Another thing, having Paco there, who has no powers, but as a combination go between and strategy guy was nice to see.
Yeah, him and Brenda helping out and contributing despite having no powers.
Yeah, exactly. It made it like, you know, anybody can do this. We can be part of the Blue Beetle team.
Oh, wait. They did have one great moment, and I do want to know what the fuck happened at that birthday party that Paco got scared by that sock puppet.
Oh.
And it was in the first issue. He was like, hey, it was a really scary clown. I'm like, what was that sock puppet doing? Like I like it was that's some of that Keith Giffen, like slightly, you know, like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But all right. So I had to bring that up. That was really funny.
Well, we will do the rounds here. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was a great introduction for me for Blue Beetle. So I'm going to give this a solid 4.25. And, you know, I love that, you know, they Fast and Furious it up, you know, it's about family. And I think that's what they're going to carry over into the series or into the movie. How about you, Drew or Ted?
Yeah. When I'm not dealing with Italians.
We're rating. This is not the end.
Right. Sorry. I'm all about family. And I didn't have to go fast nor furious about it. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought it was a great read. And as much as I loved, you know, besides my mustache as I read it, I'm going to go a little above Leo and give it 4.35. Honestly, if anybody wants to really better understand Jaime Reyes, this has got to be in your rotation because you really will get a good understanding of the character from this. So
awesome. Jar Jar.
$4.36. Did I win? Price is Right? No?
Yes.
All right. I'm 1 cent higher. I'm going to give this probably...
The bounty paper towels. You win.
I'm going to go high on this, like a 4.8. It was...
Wow.
It hit me not in the feels, but like it got like a great story. It had so many other characters where you thought it might get like a little overwhelming, but they did so well in explaining everything. The art was great. Yeah, 4.8.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like Drew, and I'm probably gonna finish the series.
Cool.
Nice.
Rich?
And for me, if I just read 10 of them, I would have given it a 4.8 like Jeremy. But the last two were a little more hokey for me. Still enjoyable stories, but just not quite as solid. So because of that, I'm going to bring it down to a 4.5. Still super enjoyable, great read. And again, like these guys said, this is the book to learn about Jaime.
Wow, this is one of our highest rated books. I'd say we're all in a similar bracket. Usually, you know, we're like, yay. It sucked.
Yeah.
So,
but there we go.
Yeah. On that note, we'll wrap it up. And Drew, now this is the part. I want to thank everybody for watching. Yeah, you know me. Just Google me, you'll find me. But more importantly, follow these awesome people here. And I do multiple shows. You can find me here every Tuesday. Also on Wednesday, I do the Still Token With, and also we do Midweek Geeks. And also I'm on the Dork Night and Comics Paradox. All awesome shows. And we'll throw it over to Jar Jar.
I actually wrote down an exit thing, and
I'll come back to you.
No, it's
no. Back to Jeremy. Hey, to Jeremy.
I can't find it, but anyways, I'm going to go with the commercial I just made and end it with, so just feel free to play an experiment with the Dorkening Podcast Network. There are over 30 shows chock full of nerdy goodness to sink your ears into, and they're all available on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else Brandon would say fine podcasts or broadcasts. So come check us out. Splash Pages is there too. And I'm Jar Jar, and come check out Comic Book Lovers, Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction.
Awesome. Mr. Drew.
Oh, okay. It's my turn. All right. Well, you had some laughs. You had some good time. You might actually read a book. Good for you. But if you want to talk to us more, I'm on Facebook. I might say hello. I might not. Probably won't. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, GhostbusterMan1984. If you really need to see me, my work, I'm also Velvet Joker J on TikTok. I don't know. He does things. And yeah, I do stuff. Might be on Screen Rant, might not. Who knows? I'm tired. Velvet, go.
Oh, I just want to add go AFC Richmond.
It's your man Velvet J wrapping up the show. We had another great one, guys, and if you ever want to check me out, you can actually see me here Tuesday nights live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on Splash Pages. You can also check me out, check out all my digital stuff that I'm doing, Velvet Joker 1, both on the YouTube and the Tickety Tockety. And I love having a great time with these guys, and I love talking comic books, and we have a great time, and you should join us. Be here every week. Do it now.
And don't forget to check out our guest Corissa Grant's Kickstarter starting on the 18th. I don't know. It's in the show notes up above or down below.
At noon.
At noon. Eastern. Oh, I'm blurry.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's our cue to go. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Be safe. Spray and neuter your pets.
Night, night.